It's time now for us to take you on a round of the entertainment circles on our moments and events. I know that, yes, you'll be waiting to see some other things, but this particular episode is a special one that is dedicated to our exclusive guests. So let's take a tour of the entertainment circles by bringing you our moments and events. It was an evening of glamour, fun, excitement and expectations as celebrities from both within and outside Nigeria, filmmakers, actors and lovers of good movies turned out in their numbers to witness the premiere of a much-expected film titled Different Worlds. The film, a collaboration between Nollywood and Hollywood, starring Nigerian, Ghanaian and American actors like Ngozi Ezeonu, Kenneth Okolie, Kofi Ajololu, Tamara Achibong, Ufot, Sean Baird, Charity Awoke, Tadase Young and a host of others, was shot on locations in both Nigeria and the U.S. Guests in attendance spoke on their expectations of the film.
I'm expecting something extraordinary, something out of this world, mind-blowing.
Yeah, I'm expecting to have fun tonight. Definitely, I've seen the quality of the production, and I'm sure that the masses and the audience will accept this movie, and it's going to touch lives as well.
Written by Tamira Taylor and directed by Chris Eneaji and Terence Rosemore, Different Worlds tells the story of a Nigerian man who travels to America for adventure but comes away with a life-changing encounter with a New Orleans artist. The producer sheds more light into the story, while the director spoke on the technicalities and challenges of such a production.
When you think about it, we have American actors, we have Ghanaian actors, we have Nigerian actors. So that all kind of comprise, they all form up their name, Different Worlds.
Had a couple of discussions with the DP and other people who were part of the technical team. So it helped me. It was quite easy for me to be able to adapt and then have a very concluding meeting with my team here, and we were able to go all over and make sure we had a masterpiece that we are about to show today.
Some members of the cast also gave their thoughts on the film.
So much greatness because it comes from America and Nigeria, so we're so excited here in Nigeria to see the versatility that the two worlds have to bring together.
When we were on set, everything was just smooth, everything was cool. The times that we needed things to be in place, they were all in place. Everything was on point. So definitely, because everything was cool and smooth on set, the film itself had become a household film so far.
Different Worlds, the movie, is a further demonstration of great possibilities between Nollywood and Hollywood. Coming from the tour of the entertainment circles where we brought you hot and juicy stories, we have come to the end of another interesting time out on Nigerian Movies Today. I have thoroughly enjoyed myself, and I hope you have too, especially with my guest on the program today. For your comments, conversations, questions, and whatever you want to find out, you can reach us on our Instagram handle at Nigerian Movies Today. I remain Ololade Adeniji Adele. Have a fantastic time. Love yourselves and love Nigeria. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Years of travel and counting. 20 years of promoting tourism in Africa and diaspora. Over 3 million kilometers traveled. Over 30 African countries visited. Explored the diaspora in 4 continents. Connected over 100,000 happy tourists to Africa. Reached over 50 million homes. Igniting smiles across Africa and beyond. As Goge Africa turns 20, we thank you and invite you to join us in the quest for 20 must-visit destinations in partnerships with the largest TV network in Africa, the NTA, Ministry of Information and Culture, Ministry of Transportation, Studio 24, Delta Airline, Toll Brokers International. You too can still be a partner. Call the numbers on your screen or info@gogeafrica.tv. Goge Africa, celebrating 2 decades of heritage, travel and tourism.
Nigeria, the giant of Africa, covers a total land area of about 923,768 square kilometers. 910,768 square kilometers is covered by land, while water takes the remaining 13,000 square kilometers. The entire country is highly blessed as it enjoys benefits brought by the vegetation zones that nature has gracefully endowed Nigeria with. From the rainforest, freshwater swamp, Guinea savanna, Sudan savanna to Sahel savanna, Nigeria is indeed on top of the world. Also blessed with enormous tourism potentials, unequaled deposits of mineral resources, and vast land for agricultural practices of choice, Nigeria is open for investment. All these are accompanied by
Hello, compliments of the season, and welcome to the news on NTA International. We are broadcasting live in Abuja. I am Juma Yusuf. First, the headlines. As Christians celebrate Christmas, Pope Francis urges softening of self-centered hearts to free the world from evil. Messages of love, peace, and sacrifice dominate Christmas services across Nigeria. Plus, President Muhammadu Buhari greets Christians on Christmas, receives Christmas homage. As Christians around the world celebrate the miraculous birth of Jesus Christ, Pope Francis has urged the world to let the light of Christmas pierce the darkness in human hearts that leads to religious persecution, social injustice, armed conflicts, and other fear of migrants. The common thread of his address to tens of thousands of people in St. Peter's Square and millions watching or listening around the world was that change starts in the hearts of individuals.
Il popolo che camminava nelle tenebre ha visto una grande luce.
The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Dear brothers and sisters, Merry Christmas.
The Pope's Ubi et Obi blessing, which goes out to the city of Rome and to the world, is only given twice a year, on Christmas and Easter. As he traditionally does in his address for the Ubi et Obi, Francis highlighted global conflicts raging throughout the world. Reviewing the global situation at the close of 2019, Pope Francis on Christmas Day offered special prayers for Syria and the Middle East, Venezuela and the Americas, the Democratic Republic of Congo and all of Africa, and Ukraine in Europe. In each case, urging efforts to ensure peace, security, and an end to suffering. The common thread of his address to tens of thousands of people in St. Peter's Square and millions watching and listening around the world was that change starts in the hearts of individuals.
Doni a tutti la sua tenerezza e rischiari le tenebre di questo.
On this joyful Christmas day, may he bring his tenderness to all and brighten the darkness of this world.
He offered his prayers for all those suffering due to violence, natural disasters, or the outbreak of diseases, and to those persecuted for their faith, including missionaries and faithful who have been kidnapped. He also prayed for victims of attacks by extremist groups, specifically mentioning Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, and Nigeria. In a separate message to the political leaders of South Sudan, who are struggling to implement a peace agreement. Pope Francis assured officials of his proximity as they work toward a swift implementation of the peace accord, whose implementation has consistently been delayed due to disagreements over terms. Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
Back home, President Muhammadu Buhari felicitated with the Christian community and Nigerians in general on the joyous occasion of Christmas. Here are details of the president's message.
The president enjoins Christendom and all Nigerians to imbibe and demonstrate the essence of the season of love and goodwill among all the ethnic groups in the country, giving and sharing, strengthening the bonds of brotherhood and good neighborliness. He also urged Nigerians to focus on all that binds them together as one united country. The president also urged compatriots to shun all actions which negate the spirit of the season, stressing that celebrating the spirit and virtues of Christmas need not be a one-day affair, but rather ought to continue into the new year. In line with the spirit of Christmas, the president calls on all elements whose actions are opposed to what the season represents, especially insurgents, terrorists, armed robbers, kidnappers and economic saboteurs, to retrace their steps and join people of goodwill and common humanity. He cautioned that they will meet their end as the armed forces, security and law enforcement agencies are poised now to confront and defeat them if they continue. President Buhari further says Nigerians must make extra efforts to live in peace and harmony with their neighbors irrespective of differences. The president says, and I quote, "While it is gladdening to note that incidents of violence and conflicts have reduced drastically owing to the several operations embarked on by our security agencies, we must not let our guards down." He further says, as Christmas indicates good tidings of hope and redemption, Nigerians can look forward to a turnaround in the administration's priority areas of fighting corruption, providing security, economic diversification, job creation, and infrastructure upgrade. End of quote. President Buhari reiterates his promise to remain resolutely committed to the actualization of a vision of bright and prosperous future for all Nigerians. The president reminded Nigerians on the occasion to pray for members of the armed forces and other security agencies who are making so much sacrifice to protect the nation from people of evil intent, and extend love to the families of those whose breadwinners made the ultimate sacrifice while defending their fatherland.
Still on the spirit of Christmas celebration, President Muhammadu Buhari is reassuring Nigerians that he sincerely appreciates their trust and confidence in his leadership and will do everything within his power to make life better for all. He said under his watch, the abundant resources potentials of the country will continue to be safeguarded and effectively utilized for public good. The president was speaking while granting audience to residents and members of the FCT community on Christmas homage. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports.
In the spirit of the season, the FCT community, devoid of religious affiliation, converged on the State House to formally rejoice with President Muhammadu Buhari on yet another peaceful and memorable Christmas celebrations.
For growth, progress, peace and harmony through Christ our Lord.
FCT Minister Muhammad Musa Bello led the delegation that comprised political and religious leaders as well as security chiefs and other stakeholders. He said the FCT community and indeed Nigerians have every cause to thank the Almighty for the upward trajectory in critical economic sectors under the next level agenda. The FCT community, for instance, the minister said, cannot appreciate the president enough for the relative peace now being enjoyed as well as the infrastructural revolution towards improving their livelihoods.
Now it is very clear what we as a people under your able leadership have been able to achieve. In spite of what people say, Abuja has been relatively peaceful. We do hope that all the relevant agencies will continue to give us all the support we need to make this city safe, secure, and also a city that all of us will continue to be proud of.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who thanked the FCT community for the show of love, support and appreciation, reassured them that the federal government under his watch will not abdicate its responsibility.
I thank Nigerians very much from the bottom of my heart, very sincerely. They voted me en masse, having sworn by the books we believed in. We will do our best to make sure the national resources are utilized responsibly to the best benefit of our country. And I hope history will be kind to me as Nigerians have proved to be kind to me.
During the event, season's greeting cards were presented by the FCT community as well as the Aso Villa Chapel.
Ours is to come and wish him well and to pray to God Almighty to guide him and grant him wisdom to work for the good of the nation and work for the progress and prosperity of this country. Nigeria is bigger than any single individual.
Things are being done differently. I applaud the National Assembly now for the fact that they are more focused and they are more executive friendly. And for those of us who are ministers, we are excited to work with him. We've seen the patience, we've seen his fatherly disposition, and we've seen the love for the country. He takes decisions not based on pecuniary interest, but based on the need to cleanse the system and bring about governance structure that can advance the future of this country.
Presidential handshakes with all those present rounds of the memorable event as Christmas celebrations continue nationwide. From the State House, Adam Musambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has congratulated and rejoiced with Nigerians at Christmas, reassuring them of better days in the new year. Speaking to newsmen after attending the Christmas church service at the Olive Tree branch of the Redeemed Christian Church of God in Banana Island, Ikoyi, Lagos, the Vice President said the best is yet to come, as the Buhari administration is committed to providing good governance for the betterment of all Nigerians.
Well, only to say a very Merry Christmas and that 2020 will be our best year yet, in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
And from Yola, Adamawa State comes a report that the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, was among thousands of Christian faithful who converged on the Lutheran Church of Christ in Nigeria to attend this year's Christmas service. Rayanu Bala reports that the theme for this church service is love and peace in the society.
Christians from the nooks and crannies of Yola, including Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, were at the LCCN Cathedral Yola to appreciate God for the gift of their Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, whose birth brought salvation to mankind. Right Reverend Amos Yakubu, who presided the Christmas service, urged Christians to reflect on the virtues of Jesus Christ of love, peace and tolerance. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, called on Christians to use the period to pray for the sustenance of peace and development of the country. Shortly after the service, the SGF and his family offered a thanksgiving in honor of his mother, who clocked 80 amidst songs and praises to God. In Yola, Rayanu Bala, NTA News.
It was a Christmas with a difference at the Catholic Pro Cathedral as Most Reverend Ignatius Kegama celebrated his first Christmas Mass as the Catholic Archbishop of Abuja. Talatu Ezruke reports that harmonious living topped the message for the day.
Christmas Day at the residence of the new Catholic Archbishop of Abuja. Most Reverend Ignatius Kegama, as is tradition for more than 20 years, extends hands of friendship to their Muslim counterpart.
We shall be neighbors, and I pray that we shall be good neighbors.
Such visit will encourage peace and unity amongst Christians and Muslims.
Whenever you find yourself, do not show difference, maybe you're a Christian or Muslim, we're all one.
More show of love from parishioners who are here for the Christmas Mass.
What he is proclaiming is the unity of this country. And that was what his predecessor was doing too.
Their primary aim is for Nigerians to coexist together as one, because if there's no unity in Nigeria, I don't think Nigeria will start.
Archbishop Kegama has celebrated Masses here, but today's outing is special as this is his first Christmas as the head of the diocese in Abuja. The homily centers on salvation of God to mankind and promotion of peace, true love, forgiveness, and unity of purpose.
I call on Nigerians to transcend these narrow ethnic barriers and the narrow religious point of view and the way we see things. And let us look at the common good that is valid for the Christian, valid for the Muslim.
Words that speak volumes, reoccurring divine unity with the birth of Jesus in Bethlehem, Palestine, a Muslim country. In this part of the world, religious harmony is highly cherished by the two major religions. The likes of Badr Sani understand these in their trade.
We make happy to Christmas. We're selling it for children to make them happy.
These the Archbishop wants people, especially the media, to promote.
Let's be honest and factual. Let's be truthful in our utterances and avoid misleading or misguiding people.
No doubt it is a clarion call for all to contribute positively in building a stronger Nigeria and consolidating on developmental gains. Talati Ezerike, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International. We'll take a break now. When we return, more reports. Don't go away.
NTAI has gone mobile. Catch your favorite programs anywhere in the world by going to Play Store on Android and App Store on iOS. Search for Vision TV UK, download and install. Then you're good to go.
Come back. Today is Christmas, with Christians making their way to church to commemorate the day. Victor Azu reports that the message across Christian denominations in Abuja mirror the life and times of Jesus Christ.
Bright and early, they troop to church, both young and old. At the Cathedral Church of the Advent Life Camp, Most Reverend Nicholas Oko, who celebrates his last Christmas service as primate of the Anglican Church, wants Nigerians, both leaders and the led, to work towards making the country a better place.
Whether in our personal capacities or members of the local government, members of the state government, members of the federal government, we can do more to improve human condition.
At the Methodist Cathedral of Unity, the Archbishop of Abuja looks to the peaceful disposition that Jesus Christ was known for in his message and urges Nigerians to be hopeful.
We are facing a lot of difficulties in the country as to how to get perfect peace or solution to our problems. But having Jesus, you have peace.
From the Celestial Church of Christ Central Cathedral comes the message of love, another virtue of Jesus Christ.
Christmas is a message of love. We should love one another.
The proximity of Christmas to the New Year means prophecies are also to be expected. It is a message of hope from the Pentecostal end.
We must be people that kindle light and hope and love and joy and even forgiveness to all around us, because this is the essence of Christmas.
God will yet make this nation to be a voice in the community of nations. We must never prophesy negative concerning our country.
We also catch up with Reverend Father Sam Tumba at the Holy Rosary Catholic Church. He tells us that the commemoration of the birth of Jesus Christ should be a reason for Nigerians to be even more united.
For every Nigerian, the birth of Christ for me is very unique, because in the midst of all our crisis and hopelessness, the birth of Christ heralds peace and invites all of us to live together as one family.
If these messages are to be adhered to by all Nigerians, then 2020 is set to be the year that Nigeria takes her rightful place among nations. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
Still in the spirit of the Yuletide, First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, felicitates with Nigerian Christians, especially the sick persons currently receiving medical attention at various health facilities in the country during these Christmas celebrations, assuring them that she is with them in soul and spirit. The First Lady stated this in a message during the distribution of food items to patients at General Hospital, Suleja, Niger State. State House correspondent Aliu Kabir reports.
Of the season, the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, through the Future Assured program, has distributed food items and other nutritious commodities to patients and other less privileged persons at the General Hospital, Suleja, Niger State. They were conducted around various wards of the hospital by the Chief Medical Director, Dr. Adedokun Abdulaziz Adebayo. The idea, according to the First Lady, who was represented by Aisha Bunu, was to identify with the patients and to enable them to know that they are always loved and remembered, especially at this festive period.
The aim of this visit is for them to have a sense of belonging. Their mother is with them, both in health and sickness. She believed this is the time we support each other and stand for each other. As the mother of the nation, she feels for everybody. She feels for all of us, the rich, the poor, the sick, and the less privileged.
This is the first time we have this kind of things in Suleja General Hospital Suleja. And you can see, you can palpate the happiness in the inpatient, outpatient, even patient relative. And this will go a long way to really give them a kind of portion in their life. And we are very grateful to her. We say thank you.
While commending the steadfastness of the hospital management for discharging their duty diligently, the First Lady used the occasion to pray to God for the speedy recovery of all patients. In Suleja, Niger State, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
Now, the joy of most people, particularly Christians, during Christmas is the time spent with friends and families. However, there are certain professions that require daily rituals capable of denying many faithful, among other things, from performing their religious and personal obligations. Let's join Saliu Abdullahi to tell us more about one of such professions.
It is daybreak in Abuja on the day of Christmas. I defied the morning cold breeze that accompanied the Harmattan to visit Kuje, one of the satellite towns around the nation's capital. My mission is to locate a Christian journalist who disclosed to me that for 16 years he has not been physically present to celebrate Christmas with his family and friends at home.
Sorry, we are here. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. How are you doing? It was indeed a fruitful journey, as I was among the first friends, at least as a journalist, that wished him Merry Christmas, and probably the first to join him this time around to celebrate the season of festivity with him at home.
No, I'm on duty.
Yeah, can you imagine? On duty?
We have to...
My hope was, however, dashed when he told me he is already getting prepared for the day's job as an editor with the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria. I perceived it as another move to enable him beat his record of 17 years of celebrating outside his home. But this is what his family members have to say.
It's really funny. It's really funny, but there's nothing I can do about it. You know, journalism work is taskful. It's a very serious work. Like today now being a Christmas day, my husband is preparing to go to work. I'm just with the kids. The food I'm cooking, he won't even eat it. Sometimes he'll come back late, very late in the night. Say, should I give you food? Say, no, I'm tired. And we are preparing for service now. He won't be in the service.
This is not the first time that Daddy is not with us. Even Christmas, New Year, last year, he's not with us.
Indeed, he made it to the office.
Good morning. Yeah, well done.
And apparently, Victorson Agbansin was not the only one on duty.
Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 2 Command Headquarters comprising Lagos and...
In fact, a day like this, which is special to the ordinary person, for them it signifies celebration, it signifies jollification, as we say in the part of the world, enjoyment, relaxation. But for us, it is more work.
After my shift now, I go back home. We have plans mapped out for the day, so we'll go and implement those plans.
I am also happy that they are here and you are here, because at least I'll be wishing Nigerians Merry Christmas. If there were nobody, if you were not here, how will Nigerians know that somebody is wishing them Christmas? So I believe that sacrifices have to be made, and that's the essence of Christmas.
That is the life of a journalist. They are called essential service providers. On such a day as this, many like Victorson sacrifice time to serve humanity. And for his family, the goodwill of his act is always the high point for them. On behalf of those whose pens are mightier than the sword, I join them to say Merry Christmas. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Now talking security matters, Major Jonah Unwakalu, spokesman, Joint Task Force Operation Delta Safe, has confirmed the incidents that occurred in Otuaba, a neighboring community to the former President Goodluck Jonathan country home, that led to the death of one soldier and another injured. In a statement, Major Jonah said the vigilant troops repelled the attack while some of the assailants escaped with gunshot wounds in the early hours of Tuesday. Meanwhile, the wounded soldier has been taken to the hospital and is responding to treatment. Preliminary investigation is ongoing to identify the persons or groups behind the attack. Major Jonathan further noted that the military had launched a manhunt for the gunmen in the creeks and waterways. He advised the people to go about their lawful businesses, as the security of lives and property is priority to Operation Delta Safe during the Yuletide. Sports update is next.
The federal government has been commended for its decision to the welfare of sportsmen and women in the country after Minister of Youth and Sports Development Sunday Dare intervened in raising $15,000 in addition to $10,000 by Delta State government for the surgery of injured D-Tigres player Nkem Akarawe. The 23-year-old forward, having represented Nigeria at the 2018 FIBA World Cup Finals in Spain, tore her anterior cruciate ligament while on national duty earlier in the year during the beach games in Cape Verde, and is now set for surgery in Dubai. The outgoing year has been described as a turning point in the development of junior golfing in Nigeria, with the gradual transition of more players through amateur ranks to professional cadre. Grand Patron Parkland Golf Resort Club Abuja, Muftar Bello, disclosed this while further stating that the Nigerian Television Authority has been instrumental through its national and international platforms.
We can begin to see more corporates and big adults as well as families, because family golfing is a very important part for development of golfing, particularly in Nigeria.
Action continues in the English Premier League on Boxing